So yeah, so we're talking about where we go next. What happens next with the agency model, and what do we look for? What does Carat as an agency? What's its kind of blueprint for the next 3 or 4 years?
Well, Jeremy, one of the things we were talking about downstairs was so many clients, whether they're new clients or existing clients, or even talking to colleagues in sort of similar businesses, in consultative roles. I think the big question that we're seeing more and more is, what is the organizational structure of the future? What is the service model by which we're going to win in the future? And it is not the legacy model of how we've operated in the past. I think that for us there are 3 key trends that are going to fundamentally change our business going forward. The first is programmatic, and the role not just in the delivery of communications through programmatic channels, but also what data allows us to understand about people. And we'll know more about people than we've ever known. So that's the first thing that's fundamentally going to change. The second is a need to move from category to culture. So from thinking about our brands in terms of what's my benefit, what's my reason to believe this category benefit, and helping brands become much more part of connected cultures of people, right? And embedding them within cultures that are meaningful. And then the last is business outcomes, moving from media outputs, reach, frequency, impressions, to business outcome, return on investment, sales, and those types of things, which gets us into things like multi-touch point attribution and econometrics modeling and things like that. So those are the 3 things that I think will change the agency model, in the future.
And that's quite interesting, because obviously measurement is a big thing, and ROI has been a big thing. And actually I've been talking away to various people about how actually getting that data verified. Is there something within Carat how you know that data is correct? Because there's so much data being thrown at us, isn't it? How hard is it to kind of decipher what is the real data and what it actually means?
Yeah, so I think that's where media is becoming more specialized than it's ever been before. And so, it's really interesting, 4, 5, 10 years ago, Carat could actually fulfill all of the media planning and buying needs that our clients had. Today, there's deep specialization that's needed. So in the accountability space or the measurement space, we need to have deep specialists and analysts that understand how to measure the business outcomes of all of the different configurations of communications. So that's where Dentsu coming together and giving us the ability to make the kind of acquisitions that we've made with companies like Data to Decisions or D2D. Which is then, how do we start to think about not them as a separate company, but literally if we had D2D embedded into every single one of our media planning teams, how would that change the conversation that we have with clients? And we need to think about those different kinds of organizational structures and capabilities that we're embedding within our teams. But we're not going to build that at Carat, because D2D has got a whole infrastructure, they've got a whole training program, so we've got to think much more about a culture of collaborating with our own organizational companies within Dentsu Aegis, as opposed to trying to build it and replicate what exists already within our network.
And I suppose that's part of the culture, because you were talking about the culture and actually working within, because it's very difficult. Some companies you see don't actually talk to their other arms and talk to their other parts. So is that a big thing in Carat, where everyone, and Dentsu, where everyone talks to everyone?
Completely, and I think the difference is having one P&L. So everything ladders up at a country and a regional level to a single Dentsu Aegis P&L. So I actually don't run a global Carat P&L. So what that enables me to do is really focus much more on what our clients need and leverage the assets and the resources that actually can help us to do that, regardless of what company they come from within Dentsu Aegis. But at the end of the day, they bought Carat as their media arm, but we may not be able to fulfill all of their needs within Carat, but we can bring those other services and capabilities and sit them all together as a single agency called Carat.